These ain't glorified gang or prison stories, man. These is lived experiences. Welcome back to the Swang Glow Podcast Show. Dude Rock Creep. It's an absolute pleasure to be back here at this roundtable amongst my roundtable family. Salute to everybody for joining me. Now, look, before I jump into this video, please let me take this opportunity now to ask you all, if you haven't did it already, to like, comment, share, and most definitely subscribe to the Swang Glow Podcast Show. Dude Rock Creep. I would greatly appreciate that. That will help us get further into the algorithm, and it costs you absolutely nothing. It costs you not a dime to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Swang Glow Podcast Show, man. So make sure y'all do that if you great people haven't done it already. And salute to the ones that have. Welcome to the family. We love and embrace you wholeheartedly here at this roundtable. I promise you that you made the right choice. Salute to all of y'all. Okay, now look, I want to follow up on a video that I did yesterday, man. In regards to a level 4 prison yard. The mentalities of the men that are on those yards that are being blamed for a lot of prison rules that a lot of guys have issue with as of late. However, I'm not here to attack that again, right? What I'm here to address is the question that has been coming to me as of late also, right? However, a narrative that has been pushed, and driven into the people's head over and over again by these guys jumping off the SMY yards, right? And these other guys that haven't been to prison in over 30 years that's lending their opinion to these situations involving prison politics, right? These guys have been driving this narrative into your head that certain people get dirty politicked off of prison level 4 prison yards, right? And I'm here to question that as well and answer some questions when it comes to that, right? Now, from my humble opinion, being that I'm on a level 4, active level 4 mainline general population yard, right? Amongst everybody. All y'all notable homeboys, OGs, the anybody's from everywhere that mean anything to any of y'all out there. I'm around a lot of them type of guys, right? A lot y'all have heard about. A lot of people have reported about a lot of these guys, but a lot of y'all don't know these guys up close and personal like I do. Like how I can get up while on this camera, walk out this cell and go greet these guys, rub shoulders with these guys, break bread with these guys. I can actually go do that and come back and actually tell you about the experience of interacting with somebody that was just on death row that they just brought down from San Quentin. Tell you about the experience of dealing with somebody that has been on death row for a number of years and then coming back to a general population yard. That is complete isolation, being on death row, waiting on your number to come up, if it come up at all, on a possible execution of your life. You feel me? I can come back and tell y'all about stories like that of me interacting with these guys, right? But people, as of late, from videos that I've been seeing, have been definitely pushing a narrative that the guys on these level 4 yards wake up angry and mad and bitter at everybody, at the whole world, to the point where they create these different prison rules to prevent others from going down to lower level yards because they want them in a war zone with them. But what is not being told is these same guys that's being accused of these things are the ones that stop a lot of wars from going on, from happening. You feel me? So when I hear this dirty politic scenario come into play when a lot of these guys that jump off these 50-50 PC SNY yards, right? When they jump out and they get a platform where they get to tell their story. But see, they story start and end on the general population yard. They don't tell you about the experience of an SNY 50-50 inmate. They only tell you about, oh, when I was over here, they had these politics going on, and this was happening and this was going on and blah blah blah. You get dirty politic, and that's the end of it. Right? That's where they story start and end. And the ending is definitely defecating on the guys that's on the level 4 general population yards. And the first scenario that these guys would jump out there and have the whole world and society believing I got dirty politicked on. How? We are here to tackle that scenario, that dirty politics scenario that a lot of guys that was in prison that may have suffered a bad situation to the point where they was brought up on counsel, and whatever it was that they was being brought up on counsel for, it was let me explain this to the people out there in the world that may not know how prison works, right? Because I don't want y'all looking at these other guys with these bigger platforms that's giving these dudes a voice. They're creating a monster by giving these dudes a voice, knowing that they came fresh off a PC yard, knowing that they was coexisting, rubbing shoulders, breaking bread with known PDA files, chomos, homosexuals, dropouts, okay? All the things that are not allowed on a general population main line. You feel me? But y'all go and you coexist with these people and then get out of prison and say that the people in the general population is the ones that's making up these rules. But the Mexicans is applying pressure on the blacks to instate their politics into black politics, and that's false. I don't know how many times I got to say that, man. Again, you're here with a person that is on a very, very active level 4 general population mainline yard where it get cracking at. Okay, not Camp Snoopy, not a level 3, not a 50-50, not a EOP, none of that stuff. None of that stuff. Okay, now when it comes to this dirty politicking thing, let me throw this scenario out there for y'all. Let's just say, because in prison, you have different cars. If y'all don't know what a car is, C-A-R, a car in prison is a specific group of people that run as a collective together, as one. Okay, that can be all the Durocs and everybody that comes from the San Gabriel Valley, in which where the Durocs reside at, which consist of the Altadena blocks, all the West Covina Crip gangs, and the Pomona Crip gangs. That's considered to be all the SGV. So that's a car in prison. And we all congregate together. That's one car. Then you have other cars. Right? Okay, now, as a Crip, there's one Crip car. And then it's an umbrella of different Crip cars under that one umbrella. Okay, so bam, let's just say my car, we got an issue with one of our people within our car. Not one man is going to make a decision on what's going to happen to this person that's being brought to council up on charges. What's going to happen is we're going to have a meeting. Everybody, if there's 50 people in that car, all 50 people is going to come to that meeting. If there's 25, all 25 finna come. Nobody is excluded because everybody got to say so in the voice in this matter. So when it's brought to the table like that, that leaves no room for error on anybody being able to say that, oh, I wasn't there for this, I didn't hear this, I didn't hear that. No, we all heard everything together. Okay, now, I say that to say this. Now, the person that's being brought up on charges, 9 times out of 10, he's not going to be there by himself. He's going to have homeboys from his specific hood that's going to be there. That's part of that car. They're going to be right there at that round table when their homeboy name is being kicked around and being brought up on whatever penalty that he's being brought up on. They got to say so, and everybody else in that car got to say so at the end of the day on what the final results is going to be for that person that's being brought up on a penalty. So basically, it's going to be like a vote on what's going to happen to this person, and being, the majority rule, and that rule is set in stone after that. Period. So when I hear the words dirty politic being thrown in some of these guys' stories, right? I'm like, well, y'all had homies there, I'm sure. And I'm almost positive that everybody in these specific cars isn't rotten to the core to the point where they will allow a fellow Kiwi to get dirty politic for whatever reason. It's just not going to happen. This process is done as a collective group. The majority rule. Point blank, period. Even if you suspect of your own homeboys from your own hood that's trying to dirty politic you, somebody else within that car can stop that. Especially if they know that it's dirty politics being attempted upon this person's character. And that person that's dirty politic, and if it come out that that's something that they attempting to do, that will cost them their life. Because they're trying to pull a dirty politic move to get somebody else harmed. So you really gonna be looked at as the stray dog. You feel me? And your career's over with. If you ever get caught trying to dirty politic in prison on a level 4, no, it's not gonna happen. I remember a situation occurred when I was in High Desert State Prison. High Desert State Prison is probably one of the most very, very dangerous prison, right? But not just dangerous, but probably the most political prison that I probably have ever been in when it comes to politicking on different things and different situations and different issues. And you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about to the point where I remember this one time us walking in now High Desert. This was on the D yard. This is a 180 level 4 maximum security lockdown prison, right? Where people is getting. Look, let me say this before I get into the story, and I promise you I won't forget to pick back up where I left off at, right? But when I first got to that prison, maybe the people was going through my file. I'm going to committee because you got to go to committee. You're on orientation. You got to go to committee in order to get taken off. So when you go to committee, they're going through your file. And they pretty much telling you what groups they're going to put you in and, what jobs they're going to apply you for and this and that, right? So they going through my file and they see that I had all this violence in my file. So they're like, oh, they say, so you like to fight, huh? You like all this violence? You're in the right place. You're in the right place. And I swear to God, they did not lie a bit. High Desert was probably the most violent place I've been in outside of Calipatria State Prison. Okay, so anyway, let me go back to where I was at. So bam, I remember this one specific day. We in the kitchen, and we we in there eating. Those just sitting around in there, just shooting the shit, waiting on them to start letting people out the kitchen after they done eating, right? And I remember I'm sitting over at this table. My young homie is sitting at the table next to me, right? My young homie from my hood. He's sitting at the table next to me. This is my young homie, Tiny Nut, Tiny Crip Nut, right? So he's sitting over at this next table, and then it's another row of tables that's next to where we at, right? And then it's filled with people. So one of the homies from Long Beach from Insane was sitting in the next row next to us. So the homie from Insane and the homie Tiny Nut, they shooting jokes at each other back and forth. They minding their business. They not bringing no harm to nobody. They not out trying to disrespect nobody or nothing, right? They minding their business, shooting jokes at each other back and forth, right? And just so happened, my young homie Tiny Nut, tell the homie from Insane, oh nigga, that's why you look like a he called him the derogatory term to disrespect the Southside Serranios, right? I'm not gonna say that term on this show because I'm not here to disrespect anybody. I'm just telling the story, right? And in the midst of me telling these stories, I just have to take more precaution in some of the things, how I describe certain stuff and certain things that I say, because I want this show to be open for everybody to be able to come and take these stories in, man, and walk away from it with a learning experience and not a negative one towards me behind something that was said. Which is why I try to put like a precursor at the beginning of the videos when I am talking about a specific person, if they are still alive or not. There's no disrespect towards them or their character, because I fell into a couple of controversial situations in regards to that. Speaking about somebody who was no longer here on Earth, and I had no clue that that person ended up getting unalive or losing their life, excuse me. So anyway, no disrespect to anybody, man. But anyway, the homie, they shooting these jokes back and forth, and the homie Tiny Nut like, oh, that's why you look like a, and he used the derogatory term that disrespect the Southside Serranios. Now, as they joking along with each other and telling these jokes to each other, they laugh and hee ha ha with each other back and forth. However, remember, we're in the kitchen. So the table that my young homie Tiny Nut was sitting at was full of Serranios, Southsiders, right? And like it was mixed up, but he was specifically sitting at that table he landed at. It was three Southsiders sitting at that table with him. Now, when he's joking back and forth with the homie and he say that word, none of them that's sitting at the table with him or that was in earshot of hearing this said anything to him. But it was one that was right there that heard it. I guess afterwards he went and said something to his homeboys and tried to make it a issue, like the homie was outright just disrespecting the Serranios, the Southsiders, right? And I honestly couldn't believe it when it was brought to me. However, when that situation was going on between the homie and the homie from Insane, when they was joking with each other, I didn't hear that exchange. I didn't hear it. You feel me? So when it was brought back to me, I'm like, huh? And I'm trying to remember everything, but again, I wasn't in earshot of what was being said between them. You feel me? Because of how we were seated. Yeah, we were sitting in the same row. He was sitting at the next table from me, but I was sitting on one end and he was sitting on like the other end. So it was a little distance between us to the point where I didn't hear what was going on between him and the homie from Insane. So bam. Anyway, when this situation brought to me, they like, yeah, man, this is like the talk of the yard. They saying that the homie just disrespected the Serenio Corps and this and that and blah blah blah. You know, they want they want him off the yard. I'm like, what? So, for one, for one, don't nobody tell me how to go about dealing with one of my homies from my hood. First and foremost, right? But secondly, especially another race, right? That's out. That's out. So let's get that straight right now. You feel me? So when this situation brought to me, man, I talked to the person that brought it to me. You know what I'm saying? And we had a nice serious discussion amongst ourselves. And I told him if I have to go to the yard and address this situation with these guys, man, we just gonna go ahead and kick it off because I'm not gonna allow them or anybody else to try to dictate this situation especially when I don't even know what's going on. So bam, after we get our thing straightened out, you know what I'm saying? He go about his way. I get at the homie in private. I'm like, so what happened? So that's when he running down to me because, like I said, I didn't hear. He run down to me, them shooting the jokes back and forth. So then somebody else, I get at somebody else that was in earshot of that situation. They tell me the same exact thing, and then they tell me that this specific Southsider that was trying to make this an issue was known for trying to start stuff amongst the races. You feel me? So if you gave any type of leverage for them to do something like that, especially with this specific guy, he was gonna try to press play. He was just one of them type of dudes that was a natural born shit starter, So when that situation occurred, he thought he was gonna get the press play and that was gonna be the end of it. And that ain't what happened. That ain't how it turned out at all. The homie stayed on the yard. You feel me? And we stood on business, on all business. Point blank, period. So when this dirty politic thing is being kicked around out there in the free world, in society, man, y'all got to know what y'all talking about. And y'all got to understand how deep a lot of these prison rules is and why they are being enforced so strongly. You feel me? And what y'all also got to remember is this: these level 4 general population mainline yards, right, consist of some of the worst of the worst. Okay? A lot of wars don't pop off on these level 4 yards because we know how deadly things get. When the war starts, it's hard to stop a war when it starts, especially if one man get hurt and the other side is feeling like, oh no, we're not accepting none of that. And it just keep going back and forth, back and forth. People get killed. People get unalived in them type of wars on the level 4 yards. That's why the rules are the rules. Point blank, period. Nobody will ever be able to come to a level 4 yard and supersede what's already been set in stone. And nobody will be looked down upon that's on these level 4 mainline general population yards for standing firm on their business. Because other people want to take the goalpost and move it back. And then y'all throw out this dirty politic and this, dirty politic and that, right? Where's the proof of the dirty politicking? That means your whole core, your homeboys from your own hood, because that's 9 times out of 10. If you get put up on the chopping block, brought up on charges, whatever them charges may be, and your destiny is a remove off that yard, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be your homeboys from your hood that's gonna remove you off that yard with a brutal beatdown. It can be the dude that you grew up with that's putting hands on you, that's stabbing you, that's getting you off that prison yard in the harshest kind of way. You know why? Because they understand that nobody is bigger than the program on those yards, in those environments. If you violate any one of those rules, unfortunately, and this is something that I am not glamorizing, do not take any of this stuff that I am bringing to this round table as me glamorizing the prison life and all this violent shit. You think I want to wake up living like that every day? Hell no. But also, I don't want to be mischaracterized either by these people that's getting off them PC yards, 50-50 yards, S&Y yards, that's mischaracterizing the people that aren't on the general population yards that are actually standing on the business that they was always taught to stand on. Point blank, period. And really, like I pointed out to y'all in the other video, respect the next man. Don't get in debt. Stay out of other people's business. No homosexual activity of no kind. Period. What's so hard about living like that? But see, a lot of these dudes, they want to go live with the homosexuals because that's what they're into. Unfortunately, you have a lot of gang members that is into that. So if you're choosing to go to a 50-50 S&Y yard, that's what awaits you on those yards. A nice, big old, swole, chunky, big, black homosexual. Along with rats, dropouts, and child rapists. People that touched on kids. Y'all cool with that. Y'all cool with coexisting and being intermingled with these people. Y'all cool with that. You go to those yards and you intermingle with all these people, and then you get out and go back to your hood full-fledged gangbanging like you wasn't never just chilling with these chomos. Make that make sense. And then you turn around and y'all say the people in the general population is mad and miserable because they got 1,000,000 years and they want everybody to stay on those yards with them and prevent them from going to a level 3. Look, some of the most humble-minded, focused people that I ever run across is on these general population level 4 yards. Had it not been for a lot of these guys that are on those yards, man, prison would be. You see how y'all hear some of these other guys jump out there and describe taking 15 phase back to back in the LA County jail and doing all that weird shit that they was down there doing? You feel me? You've heard them stories, right? Imagine if that was being able to be carried over into a level 4 maximum security. Why you don't hear them type of stories coming from anybody that's on a level? I'm on a level 4. General population, mainline. I am right now. I can't bring you one story of 15 phase back to back. 1,000,000 stabbings back to back. Come on, man. Why y'all think them type of stories don't exist? But we the ones that's wrong for standing on what we standing on, and y'all are gullible enough to believe these 50-50 S&Y guys and these other dudes that keep trying to push the goalposts back because they're related to one of these dudes that was on these yards? Irregardless of who you may be, how big your status may be, my nigga, you went and coexisted with chomos, homos, dropouts. And then you got the audacity to turn around and say the people on the general population is fake, pushing fake politics, trumping up charges. Come on, man, get out. Y'all not that gullible. And again, like I offered, and I will continue to offer my services, of giving. Well, just go down my page here on YouTube, man. Just go down it. That's all I've talked about. It's prison this and prison that, gang this, gang that. But it's to educate you. It's to never glamorize that life. I would never come on my platform and glamorize any of that stuff. But I got to highlight out and point out what's fact and what's fiction. Especially when you have these guys that's getting out they're getting platforms, big ones too, and they pushing these false narratives about people like myself that's on general population yards. Other than that, if they wasn't doing that, if they got out and kept it real and told you about their life experience on the 50-50 S&Y PC yard and left the GP out their mouth, I wouldn't say nothing. Because in prison, when you go to the hole, you are not allowed to talk to no rat, no dropouts. No S and Y, no PC. You're not allowed to talk to them. There's no interaction with them, period. And the people that's been to prison, y'all know this. So why would you get out of prison and interact with one? Oh, because you left that lifestyle behind? But yet and still you tell these stories about this and about that when it comes to the lifestyle. How are we to respect you and you not keeping it real? You're trying to push the goalposts back, irregardless to who that person may be. I'm just saying, man, the game is Mickey, real Mickey. That's all I'm gonna say, man. But yeah, I just wanted to follow up on that, man, and attack this fake narrative, of the dirty politic thing when it comes to prison, especially level fours, and why a lot of these guys, whatever for whatever reason you get politicked on is for something that you done. And one man don't make a decision on that. That's a collective decision. Point blank, period. That's not a process that is taken lightly. Everybody is involved in that, your whole entire core. So you saying your whole entire core is rotten to the core, no good, to where they all made a universal decision, the dirty politic on you, including your homeboys from your hood. Make that make sense. It don't. Question these dudes, man. And y'all need to start indulging into the real prison content. You feel me? Because I live it every day. Every day. And no, I'm not bragging about that. I'm making y'all aware there's real, then there's watered down, and then there's just fake. I place myself in the category of realer than real. Point blank, period. There's a whole bunch of people that has been in every prison that I've been in. There's people that still exist right now to this day that tap in with me every day. You feel me? So I can't come and false represent anything with Do Rock Creep name attached to it. It's not gonna happen. It's too many people. I've said it before, I say it again. There's too many people that know me in real life from these different prisons, seeing me in different situations like I've seen them. You feel me? So try to mischaracterize me as an individual if you want. When it's a million, you're gonna look foolish. You would make yourself look foolish, even attempting to do so. I promise you that. You feel me? So I bring y'all these stories, these experiences, my input on the prison life, culture, whatever you may, as a person that's living it day in and day out. And I hate it. I hate it. Waking up, looking at gray walls every day. I hate it. But at the same time, I'm focused on trying to get my freedom back and contributing as much positive as I can to society through these videos. Glamorizing nothing about this life, just gaming you up about it. The possibilities of you making the wrong decision can lead you into a jail cell like this one. Once was a young youth, full of life, no gray hairs, young face, smooth skin, aged in the system, aged, now an elder. Yeah, I got to make this time account for something, and best believe I'm utilizing this platform to do that, to help those that want to be helped in knowing better about this lifestyle and this culture without watering anything down. I don't have to get on here and put extras about the S&Y 50/50 EOP stuff when it's well documented and known what these dudes is about. You make a decision to go coexist on one of those yards, then you're considered to be the same in nature of the people that's there. We don't have homosexuals on the main line. We don't have child rapists on the main line. And if by chance there's one, he will be discovered eventually and met with a harsh reality, unfortunately for him. Feel me? But yeah, man, I've taken up more than enough of y'all time. Like I said, I just wanted to follow up on the video that I did yesterday because I've been getting asked about this dirty politicking thing. And yeah, I wanted to address that. You know what I'm saying? And make it crystal clear that you would have to be extremely naive to believe that something like that can take place amongst an entire car and everybody be fine with it. Think about the logic in that. You feel me? That's all I'm trying to do is wake y'all game up a little bit. But on that note, hey, I'm finna get up out of here. I appreciate the time. Thank you all for showing up yet again, man. I love and appreciate you, man. Thank you all for giving us the legs that we needed, here at this podcast, man. And we just gonna continue to travel and create, and grow with y'all here. Love and appreciate you all. Y'all take care. Y'all stay safe. Stay vigilant. Let the people in your life know that you love and appreciate them while you can, because tomorrow's promised to none of us. On that note, I'm finna get up out of here till the next time we meet at this round table. I love all y'all. Triple gang.